Hi everyone, Yoli Inch here, and it's Purposefun Friday! Yippee! And here from Bermagui on the Sapphire Coast. Now, have you found that you and some people in your team have a money mindset that can sometimes hold the organization back? Or that you or members of your team sometimes think from a area of lack, that there's not enough time, that there's not enough money, that there's not enough. I have found that in actual fact, leaders can improve the way they run their organization by peeling back the layers of looking at their own money beliefs and to get a sense of how scarcity or abundant their thinking is. So in today's Purposefun Friday, we'll explore this a little bit deeper. Plus, you'll be getting a resource to explore it in a much greater depth and exercises that you can actually work through. Now, Brad Klontz, a financial psychologist, has actually said that learning about our relationship to money actually started from our childhood. And in that time, we tended to create our money script. And our money scripts tend to be our understanding of money and our behavior around money. And sometimes we don't even know that they're running. It's the way we talk about money, and we just don't know that we're doing it this particular way. It's our childhood that influences us, and it's the people in our childhood that influence us, as well as the experiences that we have. Now, interestingly, there's also some research by the Bowmans who did some research on not-for-profits and looked at the prosperity consciousness of not-for-profits, and they discovered that the leaders of these not-for-profits actually stopped their organizations from moving ahead because of their scarcity thinking or the way they thought about money, but also their understanding of the revenue and resources and beliefs about money for their organization. So they limited it. It wasn't how much money was available. It wasn't what was involved in the environment or whether or not there was enough grants or enough volunteers or donations or whatever. A lot of organizations were limited by their leaders. Now, that's really interesting. So I've been a leader in the community sector for about 35 years. And I too have also needed to peel back the layers, my money layers. And I have found for myself that in looking at who made the main decisions about money in my family, it was mostly my father. But my mum and my grandpa actually managed the books in his business, but the main decisions were made by my father. Now, of course, he was supported by mum. And when it came for us having money, we had to work with our chores. We had chores around the house that we had to do before we got pocket money. And if we wanted to buy anything special, because mum and dad didn't want to give us everything we wanted, if we wanted anything special, we had to either go and find a job or do extra chores to get that money. So I found that was very useful to understand the value of money and how important it is to work for it. Now, as well as that, my dad also encouraged us to limit waste. So we had to be careful about lights around the house, making sure we turned lights off, and being careful about how much water that we used. Another thing my father said, particularly when I was a teenager, he said, life is too much of a gamble to actually gamble. So for me, I found that my family's attitude and belief about money was really helpful, not a hindrance. But when I've traveled around the state delivering financial capability workshops in the past with a fellow from Griffith University, Mark, we actually discovered a lot of people had very different experiences about money, and their money scripts were really different. So I'm going to share with you 4 steps that you can take to improve your relationship and mindset to your finances yourself and within your organization. So, firstly, have an abundance mindset. Secondly, make sure you identify your current behavior to money or your current money belief. Thirdly, make sure you choose a healthy relationship to money. And fourthly, make sure you have the practices in place for you and your organization to shift from where you are to where you need to be. So let's look at the first. Now, as I said, the resource will go through this much more deeply, and you have lots of exercises to work through. So you'll really peel back those layers like an onion, and it'll be really exciting when you actually see what's the nub of the influence to the way you do things around money. So let's look at the first step. That's around having an abundance mindset. Now, a scarcity mindset is focused on lack, that there's not enough around us. Now, in today's environment, it's not surprising. Our economic situation is making it really difficult to have an abundance mindset. Yet, it's still important to do this. So, I really recommend that instead of a scarcity mindset, look towards an abundant mindset that actually sees the possibilities and opportunities around you and believe that there is enough, that there is a way to do things, you just haven't found it out yet. So the second step, that is around your current relationship to money. Now, as I said, I saw that my father's influence to our relationship to money was really valuable. It's really important for you to peel back your layers and ask yourself, when was a joyful time that you had around money in your past? Who took care of money in your family? What sort of sayings or behaviors in your family affected you? Were they helpful or were they a hindrance? So you make sure you explore that for yourself. Because it's really interesting around money scripts, because Brad Klontz has said that there are a number of money scripts that actually limit financial outcomes. One money script that I think is really relevant in the do-good sector and the not-for-profit sector, and that's a money script around avoidance. So an example of that will be that rich people are greedy or that money is not important. So we need to shift that one. Now, in your resource, there are other examples. So now let's look at your third way in which you can consider money. And that was about shifting to your relationship to money so that it is positive and healthy. Now, let's start with, who do you know has a great relationship with money? Think about that. Who do you know? How do they manage their money well? Really think deeply about that. What can you learn from them? Then look at yourself. Then it's not all bad things about you. You'll have some positive ideas. So think, what are some positive actions that you have about money? How do you organize your finances or other people's finances? How can you build on those strengths? What are your strengths and your behaviors that you can build on that can contribute to your healthy relationship you're going to create about money? And as you've peeled back these layers, what sort of belief are you going to work towards so that you choose the healthy belief that works for you? Then, of course, fourthly, it's making sure you have the right practices to shift from where you are to where you need to be. So I've got 8 ways in which you can do that. And the top 4 are: clarify your goals and your values. Make sure you know your behaviors around money. Pay attention to those. Make sure you spend your money around your values, make sure you spend your money around your goals. And then, of course, in your resource, you have the other 4 ways to move forward. And then, of course, shift your thinking, reframe your thinking from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. So instead of thinking, how much money can we raise? Think, how much money do we need to achieve our goals? How many resources do we need to achieve our goals? See, it's more specific. It's not a generic thing. Make it specific to your goals. And then I list for you 7 steps and everyday practices for you to shift from scarcity mindset to abundant mindset. So work through your resource. Make sure you do every exercise. And please send us a message to say how well it's worked for you. And look, I believe very strongly that when you do that, when you get clarity around how to shift to a healthy mindset around money and be more abundant in your thinking, you will create more powerful goals and financial success in your own life and within your organization. So have fun with it. Enjoy it. Get other people involved in it with your organization, people in your family. So, see you next time. Bye for now.